What's up, you guys? It's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are interested in how I got this makeup look, then keep on watching. Alright, y'all, so we're starting off with a clean face and moisturizer, of course. If you see me looking down, I'm looking in my mirror. You'll see me looking down the whole time. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start off with some concealer. I'm using this one by Nars. I'll put all like my shades and stuff on the screen. I do this first because y'all, my bags, I have some discoloration under my eyes. The sleep pattern is off, girl. But anyway, sometimes you can kind of see that through my makeup, so I do just like to go ahead and conceal that first, and then I'm going to hit my highlighted areas as well, so my nose and my chin. I am going to let that dry down just so I can have more coverage, and while I do, I'm going to be putting on this primer by Urban Decay. This has been my favorite primer for a while now. I think I've been using this nonstop for probably 2 years. I do want to try some new ones, but like I just love this one. I always go back to it. So let me know down below what you like to use. But yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put this all over. I do focus in my T-zone and like my smile lines just because I tend to crease there the most. So I'm just putting it there. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and take this brush here and start blending in that concealer. The longer you let it sit, the more coverage you'll get, so that's why I let it sit while I do that. I do like this little brush. I like using a brush over a sponge, I've recently discovered, just because you can control where your product goes, and then also it helps to give more coverage using a brush versus a sponge as well. So I just use this one, and I really like to use this up by my waterline because it is so small. And then I'm going to go ahead and blend down the bridge of my nose as well. This does not have to be perfect. We are about to put foundation right on top of it, but I do just like to go ahead and start by doing this first. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some concealer in my smile lines as well, just because we got a little stash. We're going to go and hide that little shadow by putting that on there. And I'm going to use a sponge for this just because I really don't care like where this goes. Just want to get that blended out a little bit. Alright, so now I'm going in with this foundation by Huda Beauty. I really love this foundation, y'all. I've been using it all winter. I don't know where I've been, but I was clearly asleep. I love this foundation. I like to use this one in the winter, and then in the summer, I tend to stick with like my Nars Radiant one, but I love this one. So I just put a pump on the back of my hand. I rub it in with my finger on the back of my hand, and then I start to put these like little dots on my face. And then I'm going to go in with the foundation brush. I will say with this foundation, you do have to work kind of quickly because it dries down kind of fast. So just keep that in mind. Also, with this foundation, a lot of people have said that they like it or don't like it just by how it oxidizes with their skin. I personally like it. As you can see, I look kind of orange right now, but as the video goes on, I'm going to look less orange and it's going to be a perfect match to my skin. So I'm just buffing this out with this foundation brush. I am going to also hit the tip of my ears. You don't have to, but sometimes the tip of my ears are just a little lighter from my face, depending on if I've had my hair up or down. So sun exposure pretty much. So I'm just buffing that in there as well. And then get down your neck, child. If you don't have your neck and stuff out, you'll see at the end that my neck was not out. So I really didn't focus on doing that as much. Also, do not forget to buff in your forehead by your hairline, okay? We not trying to be looking ashy up there, have a big mark, a harsh line up there. So be sure that you do that. I don't go as hard with my foundation up there just because I am going to contour there as well. But just keep that in mind that you are getting by your hairline. All right, so now I'm going in with my LA Girl Concealer. I like using this one in the winter just because this one is a little bit lighter. My NARS one right now kind of matches my natural skin tone a little more, so I guess I kind of use that as color correction, if you want to say that. That's why I put that underneath. And then this one is going to be more of like a highlighter for me. I will go back in with the NARS one too, that you'll see that in a minute, but I'm going in with this one for highlighting purposes. Under my eyes, the bridge of my nose, and my chin as well. I don't like to do my forehead. I think I said this already, but like sometimes I think it makes me look ashy on my forehead, and I always end up regretting it. So I just leave that alone. And then while we're letting that dry down, I am going to go in with this contour by Huda Beauty as well, and this stippling brush by MAC. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of like outline where I want it to be. I'm not going to start blending or anything just yet. I'm really just placing it where I want it to go, and then I'll start blending. So I'm not putting this super low into like my natural, I don't know, like structure of my cheekbone. I'm kind of putting it like right below the top of it. This is just going to help my face look more lifted overall. And then I'm getting the sides of my face and then also my forehead close to my hairline. And then I do like to contour my jawline sometimes just so that it looks a little bit more structured when you look at me straight on. And I am just kind of dragging this out and then blending it in. I'm not really being neat about it either. I just don't think you really have to be that neat with this, but you see how I'm kind of blending it out. And then I am going to take my foundation brush on top of it just so that there's not a super harsh line. And there I was just kind of showing you how it looks when you look at me straight on. But there's that foundation brush, like I said, just buffing everything in so that there's not a super harsh line. All right, so now we're gonna start blending out this contour. So I'm really just like tapping and like pressing it in. I'm not like dragging too much as I just drag. I'm not dragging too much. I really try to focus on like tapping and pressing it in. Occasionally you will see me kind of dragging like in this way. I'm pulling towards my hairline and then you'll see me going away from my hairline too. This is just so I don't have super harsh lines, but you definitely just don't want to be like dragging the brush across your face. Like if I am dragging, I'm definitely still like tapping and pressing the product in as well. And then I'm just taking my foundation brush again, using whatever leftover product is on there to buff out any harsh lines. Okay, and now we're gonna go in and start blending out the concealer with the same brush we used before, doing the same technique we did before as well. As you can see, when I get to the corner of my eye, I'm dragging it upward and not so much like straight out, like even with my eye. I'm going like up towards my eye. Again, this just kind of helps my face look more lifted. And then I'm just going to go ahead and blend out the contour on my nose as well. Some people like to take their concealer that's under their eyes onto the sides of their nose. I don't know why, but I really don't like that. It kind of makes me look a little ashy. So I kind of avoid doing that. Now I'm going back in with this Nars Concealer and I'm putting it below where my, like kind of far down below where I originally placed the concealer, just because I'm using this one more so for color. I did use that other concealer for brightening, but now I'm just kind of trying to tone it down a little bit more so where it meets my contour. This is not this is not really for like highlighting, it's more so just for the color. So I do take a sponge to go ahead and blend this out. Then I'm just using the sponge to blend out my nose as well. I was watching this YouTube video. She was not making sense, y'all. Anyway, so now I'm going to go ahead and set everything. I love these sponges. I think I got them from Target. They came in like a pack of 3. But as you can see, like it's cut off on the top. So it's like angled to fit perfectly under your eye. But anyway, I just dip my sponge into the powder, and then I tap off the excess on the palm of my hand, just so there's not too much extra powder or loose powder flying everywhere. So and you can see that I am pressing this into my skin. I'm not like lightly tapping it on top, just because I don't really like to bake for too long. I really don't like to bake in general. Again, I think it makes me look ashy. So I really try to press as much of the powder as I can into my skin, and then I'll dust away the rest later. And then again, with these sponges being angled the way that they are, the tip of it is flat for you to be able to do this down the bridge of your nose. So I love that as well. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and start bronzing on top of where we put the cream contour. On my cheeks, on my cheekbones, I kind of go in like a swirling motion, and then like when I get to like the sides of my face and my forehead, it's more so like a tap and dust situation. I don't know. That's just what works for me. I feel like when I just tap on my cheeks, it makes it look a little more harsh. So I try to swirl on my cheeks unless there's just like a spot where I feel like I could use more, then I'll kind of just press it in there. Right, so now we're just gonna go in and dust away the excess powder that we put on. And as you can see, even now, like I am sweeping some away, but I'm also like tapping and pressing into the skin, tapping and pressing into the skin. We want to use as much of the product as we can. So I'm really just focusing on pressing it into my skin, as well as sweeping away whatever is left over. And then I will go back in with my contour as well, just to get any harsh lines where my concealer and setting powder meets my contour. Right, so now we are getting ready to reverse contour. Y'all, I have a love-hate relationship with this technique because yeah, I'm so afraid of looking ashy. I keep saying ashy, 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 but like this can really make you look crazy if you're not careful. So I am just going to be cutting my contour. I love the way it makes, your face look when you do this, but then I prefer to dust it away immediately. Some people let it sit. I do not, because it will kind of look harsh the longer you let it sit, at least on me. So I'll kind of rub this on and then dust it away immediately. Also, I find that the placement of where I put this kind of changes too. Sometimes I go a little higher up, and then sometimes I'm like where I just put it now. They say that you should try to meet like the corners of your mouth. So like if that were the case, I would have done it a little higher up. But honestly, it's really up to you. I just kind of go with the flow each time that I do it. So I'm just dusting it away, taking the foundation brush, patting any excess product that's on that brush in just to take away that ashiness. It's really not ash. I guess it's powder, but you know. And then I'm going to go ahead and start with blush. So I'm using this palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I'm taking those two colors that you just saw me tap in. I kind of stay away from that light peach one just because I don't know, I think it's a little too light for me, so I prefer to stick with those two that I'm using. And I put this right on top of my contour. Like, it's still on my cheeks, but it's really sitting right on top of that contour, which is another reason why I do it up higher as well. Again, making everything look more lifted. And this also gives you like more of a seamless blend with everything, so I like to have them together. I used to be so afraid of blush, and now I love it. I don't know why I was afraid of it, but I was. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put some of this bronzer along the line or along my nose, next to the concealer we put on earlier. Sometimes I do this and sometimes I don't. I'm really not trying to change like the shape of my nose. I just like for it to look a little bit more snatched. Like, I really like the way my nose looks, and whenever I try to do any other like shape from what it is, it just looks weird. So I'm really just following, the bridge of it and going up into my eyebrow bone, but that's pretty much all I do. And like I said, sometimes I don't even do this step, and I'll just put like highlighter on the tip of my nose and like right in between my eyes. But I didn't put highlighter on in this video. Again, it just kind of changes from day to day for me. And I'm just taking away that harsh concealer line at the tip. Now we're going to go ahead and start on brows. I'm going to do part of this on camera, part of it off. So right now I'm just brushing them out. I do like for them to look a little more fluffy, so I do brush them upward before I go ahead and start filling them in. I have naturally thick eyebrows, so I don't go too crazy with the pencil. I'll look like I got two caterpillars crawling on my face, so I kind of have to be a little more light-handed with this. So I'm just going to fill in like my sparse areas and then kind of line the front of them as well. And this is a kit by Anastasia as well. And I really like them together. So it comes with the pencil. Well, it's dual ended. So the pencil on one end, brush on another, and then the gel. Now I just flip back to the brush just to brush out any harsh lines in the pencil that we just put on. And then I'm gonna go in with the gel next. And the gel essentially has like the same little brush end that we just used. However you brush your brows with the gel, that's how your brows will lay. So I'm just following the same brushing pattern I was just doing. Again, I like for them to look a little bit more fluffy, so I'm brushing upward. I'm gonna go back in with my LA Girl concealer, and then this flat brush just to line the bottom of them, not the top. We don't want them to be floating, so I'm just gonna line this with concealer, and I only do it halfway through and then blend it all out along the rest of my brow just so I don't have too much product, and I'm going to do that off camera. And then now we are back, and I'm using this setting powder by Charlotte Tilbury. This just makes everything, you know, look airbrush, pulls everything together, blends everything together. So I'm just putting this all over my face except for directly underneath my eyes. You'll also see that I'm tapping this along that reverse contour as well, just again to take away any leftover powder or any ashiness that could be there. It's just kind of helping everything blend together. And then I do go back in with some blush just because the powder kind of mutes it down a little bit. We just want to bring the color back into the face. So I just go in with a little layer of that right after. And then we're going to go in with some setting spray. So this one is by Urban Decay. It's the all-nighter setting spray. Just spray this all over. I love this spray, man. And then I'm going to take a sponge and I'm going to kind of dab those little like spray dots, just because if you do leave that, it will dry on your face like that and you'll be able to still see it. So I'm just dabbing those in wherever I see them. And then I'm going to go in with this other setting spray by Charlotte Tilbury. This one kind of helps you look a little bit more dewy, and don't do too much because you will be gleaming, okay? So I just go in with this right after, and again, just patting away those little dots that I see. And then for lips, I normally do a brown liner first and then a lighter pink one, but I could not find them for the life of me. I just found them yesterday in one of my bags, but I would normally go in with this Fenty lip gloss right on top. It is kind of tinted, so it's all right. So I just went ahead and put that on per usual, brush out my lashes. And we have the final reveal. Yes, I love this soft makeup look. It's so easy, honestly. Like I said, it's really soft. It's not doing too much. It don't take too much effort. And I just really love the way it turns out every single time. Every time. If you like this look and you try it out, let me know, tag me in it, let me know what products y'all use that y'all like. Also leave any video ideas down below that you want to see from me coming up. That's all I got for y'all. I love you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.